I want to talk about the next generation of G.I. Joe fans. Um, how is this going to work? What are we going to do? Classified is doing really well right now, and G.I. Joe is popular. But the figures aren't really for kids. I mean, they're for 40 something year olds that, are collecting it. And I think we need to figure out how we're going to pass the baton. Get the next generation into GI Joe. Get the kids into GI Joe. Now, you people out there that have children, I'm sure I'm not saying anything that you haven't already considered and are probably implementing already on your own. If you got kids, I'm sure you're, showing them GI Joe. You show them the cartoon or the movie or something. Give them some comic books, kind of get them into it. Do what you can. And I think that that's the right thing to do. I mean, GI Joe has been good to us, and we got to be good back to GI Joe. We owe them big time. Okay, so it's time to pay back. We gotta pass this down. Um, all the and I know, hey, it's a different time. Things are different. Maybe GI Joe's not big right now, but they'll come out with it some other time. But I think it'd be great to just do it right now. There's a lot of reasons. I mean, hey, classified is real hot right now. I think that a lot of people that collect it now probably have kids, or if they do have kids, they're going to be in the right age bracket to play with GI Joe and learn to like it and everything. Um, Part of the problem is that the classified figure again. It's not designed for kids. I mean, they can play with it. I mean, those things are sturdy as hell. You could fucking dig a hole with it and treat it like it's a shovel or something. I think will hold up. Like, those things are not going to break. Their little pecker's not going to snap off. Their thumbs aren't going to bust off. Like, they're good. They're solid. But yeah, the price tag on them, and they're not really available. They're not in anybody's faces really. Every GI Joe that I have, I bought online. I don't see them out in the world anywhere. Like if you go to a comic book shop or something, sure. But I mean, I'll go to Walmart. Walmart doesn't have nothing. They got they'll have like one retro figure on the shelf, whoever it is. Right now they got Beachhead. There's like 5 Beachheads on the peg. Nothing else. No other figures. No other. I don't know, other lines or nothing. There's nothing. You go to Target, same thing. Target has the 2-pack of the stupid Tiger Force 2-pack, and they don't have shit either. They do got one other thing, which I'll bring up again, but still, I mean, it's not like a whole section. And I'm not even talking about a big section, but I mean, hey, there's a section for X-Men, there's a section for Spider-Man and Star Wars and SpongeBob and Jumanji. I don't know what kids like. That's what's so great about these toy lines and these universes of characters that we all know and love. I mean, they don't have to go away. I grew up with Spider-Man, but my father grew up with Spider-Man too. And so does someone who's 25, and so does someone who's 10. Like those things don't necessarily. I mean, they can last forever. They don't have to go away. And GI Joe is no different. It's not in kids' faces. They're not really a kid toy, but let's make them. You're not going to see an 8-year-old online and Hasbro Pulse, at 1:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, trying to get his pre-order in before it sells out at 1:01. I go to Target and they got something on the shelf that seems like maybe could be something. I see it looks like an O-ring figure at first glance, and then you get close to it and you realize it's this like shitty 5 points of articulation clothespin man that doesn't do anything. It's GI Joe, just so simple and stuff compared to how the original O-ring line was, and the price tag is like $20 for this dumb little thing. That pisses me off because who's buying that? I don't even know. If they had elbows and knees and they were like $12 is probably like a realistic price to throw out there. If they were $12 and they were a little bit better made, that'd be something. We could work with that. You could give that to a kid. I could give that to a boy and feel good about it. He'd say, thank you. I don't know you. This is really inappropriate. You're a grown man. I don't know why you crossed the street to give me a toy, but I could tell it must have been important to you. And I could feel like, the passion when you give this to me. And I take that into my heart and I really respect what you've done for me. So thank you, sir. A kid could do something with that is kind of my point. G.I. Joe as a brand should be out there. When we were kids, you could go to Kmart and there'd be a G.I. Joe sleeping bag and there'd be G.I. Joe bed sheets and you can get a Snake Eyes Halloween costume and a plastic sword and a plastic gun with the G.I. Joe and the Cobra logos and stuff. It was just everywhere. And I know, again, yeah, it's a different time, but I don't know why that matters. Why not just, bring it out now? Like G.I. Joe's hot. Let's keep it going. Keep them out. Keep them coming out. Come on. Come on. Come on. So I guess the reason I'm bringing this up is because I have a nephew who's about to turn 5 years old. And for the past 6 months, I've been steadily giving him, an IV drip of G.I. Joe classified figures. I started with Bazooka. I gave him Bazooka because my brother, his dad, he liked Bazooka. So I got him that. So, because that was one of his dad's favorite guys. And I gave it to him. And then a couple weeks later, I saw his dad. I was like, does he play with that thing? And he's like, oh, yeah, he's very special to him. So, for me, that was like, okay, awesome. So, my wheels started turning. I started plotting out. All right, I'm going to give him this figure. I'm going to give him this figure. And I'm going to set him up with a good collection. And we're going to do this nice and slow. Over the next few years, I'm going to, kind of hook him up and build him a good little collection. And he'll learn about G.I. Joe and it'll be awesome. Plus his dad knows G.I. Joe too. He played with them, me and I have two brothers and we were all into G.I. Joe. I'm giving him the classified figures, but one, yeah, he'll have them and that's great. But I mean, his friends down the street aren't going to have them. And the kids at school aren't going to bring him in to play with or for show and tell and stuff. No one's going to know that. So, that kind of sucks. And the other thing is, the toy is great, but to have like a cartoon really grows out the world for you, really fills everything out. I mean, I can give him a Shipwreck figure. He'll create his own personality for that guy maybe, and he'll like him or he won't like him, and he'll have an opinion about him. And, toys are supposed to be for the imagination anyway, so that's all good. But to see Shipwreck on screen, flirting with the ladies or, kind of being a smart ass or something, you hear his voice, you see his personality, like you learn about the character and that, that just resonates and that goes a long way. So I guess I'm just kind of asking for some advice on what can I do to kind of get him hip to G.I. Joe, something that's like accessible and realistic. An example is on YouTube they have if you just YouTube G.I. Joe cartoon, the first thing that shows up is a channel that just plays the Sunbow cartoon 24/7. There's little commercial breaks in it. They're like 5 seconds if you skip it. And that's fantastic. I guess I'm just looking for like other options too. He's too young for comics. I did find these cards too online. They're like baseball cards, but G.I. Joe. There's a couple people selling them here and there on eBay and some different sites and stuff. And I bought like 5 packs, unopened packs of G.I. Joe cards. I'll put some pictures on here while I'm talking about it. But yeah, I mean, those are pretty cool. They're from 1991. I mean, they're old, but yeah, I mean, there's a good picture of the character on the front. It says their name clearly underneath them. And then on the back side of the card is, it's kind of like a file card. It's got the statistics, real name, unknown, birthplace, unknown. Oh, okay. And then it'll describe like what their specialty is and say a little bit about their personality, just like a file card. It might even be right from the file cards for all I know. Those are cool too. Maybe I can, give him a couple stacks of those things and, he learns about them that way. I think it's time to, bring the G.I. Joes out for the kids. So I don't know. Tell me what you guys think. If you got kids and they like G.I. Joe because of you, or they don't care about it, because they're just not interested or something, just, Yeah, let me know in the comments. I mean, I'd like to know that stuff. And yeah, let's bring G.I. Joe back. Let's get G.I. Joe back out there in the world. Let's go to a store and you can get a G.I. Joe t-shirt for a little kid and it's got a picture of a Snake Eyes on it. Or you get, a candy bar and it's got Duke's head on it eating the Snickers. I mean, there would, it just needs to be out there for kids to see it. How about a new cartoon and then, some figures to go with it? Just start building the O-rings again or something. I know they're not going to cost $3, but make something that's affordable that kids can do. All right, I said my piece. Get out there tomorrow, kick somebody's ass, all right? G.I. Joe.